Hi Jamie, I'm fine. Thank you. How are you?
Yeah, excellent. Thank you. Yeah, doing very well. So, firstly, thank you to everyone who's joined us in today's webinar. We're going to be talking about extended ECM for engineering. Luckily, we have Charan here, who has a large amount of experience in extended ECM and certainly extended ECM for engineering. Um, Charan, let's start off. Firstly,
Yep, sure.
why would someone need extended ECM for engineering?
So, Extended ECM for engineering is a solution that is built on top of the OpenText ECM platform, uh, which is mainly used by energy engineering and construction companies. It helps them to maintain all the uh, engineering documents within a single repository, and it will also helps them to maintain and share those documents with the external collaborators easily. So extended ECM for engineering will make use of the core components of the OpenText extended ECM, so which was in the past referred as OpenText Content Server, and it got all the advanced functionalities like you can restrict the documents, like maintaining the permissions, and also you can share the documents to the external collaborators, tracking the documents, auditing. It is available within the content server, and the main thing is also revision tracking, where you can identify the different revisions of a specific drawing or a document or a construction document or whatever it is, uh, that are part of a project. So extended ECM for engineering will help all the these EPC customers to maintain a single source of truth when it comes to their um, documents.
Okay, fantastic. So I get that single source of truth we've talked about a lot in our previous videos about just
Yeah,
extended ECM in general.
yeah,
That's obviously one of the main benefits, which is the ability to know where everything is and those audits, as you mentioned.
right.
What other benefits sort of come there? What are the main challenges that people in this space are facing?
So mostly the people face issues with sharing these documents with the externals, right? Because you have to share those documents in a secured way, uh, and it has to be shared to the right people, and it should not go missing. Like let's say if you send a physical document, we are not sure. Sometimes it may go missing, and it may contain the most important details and all those things. And let's take example of some other some other scenarios where the document may not be encrypted and shared with the externals, uh, and with the wrong externals as well, or sometimes the document is not securely transferred to the externals, right? So in this scenario we have very good functionalities called transmittals. So extended ECM for engineering make use of the transmittals, where you can basically share the documents with the externals using three mediums. One is core share, that is going to be, that's a product from the OpenText itself,
Hmm.
which can be shared with the, which can be used to share the documents with the externals. Okay, and anyone can access, who has the account can access it. Like you have to give your mail ID, and you are the only one who are going to receive the document. So it's not going to be someone. Everyone cannot view those documents that we shared with you. Okay, and next comes the supplier exchange. So supplier exchange is also similar to the core share, but supplier exchange got some more functionalities, which I don't want to go deep into that right now, but we can use that to share the documents with the externals as well. And we also have something called email cover sheets, where we can share these documents in a email as well, based upon the emails. And this is very easy. So let's say I share a document with you, you make the changes to those documents, and you add the latest document as a version to the document in the core share or supplier exchange, or even you can send it back to us through an email, right? If I share with you an email, so those documents will be routed to the content server, and it will get stored in the content server as a new version. And there we can also have different steps of approvals. So let's say if I receive a document like from you as a vendor, if I receive a document, I can approve it. Like let's say if I have to add it or not, I can also reject it. I can also resend the document to you to make the changes by making the markups and all those things. In this place, like making the markups of the changes on the drawings itself, can be done using Brava or intelligent viewing. Uh, these are the products that are from OpenText again, which are useful to you to view the documents directly on the browser and make the markups, or you can add the comments, like let's say I don't want this pipeline here, remove this pipeline. It will be sent to the vendors again, externals, and they can make the changes to it, and it will be back into the system again. So this is one of the uh, one of the use case. And the other one is like, let's take example of you have thousands of drawings and you
Hmm.
are storing them in a repository. So how are you going to open them? Like every time you download the drawing and make the changes, upload the drawing again. In this scenario, if you want to share these documents to the externals again, you have to download it, send it through an email. This is a lengthy process, right?
Yeah.
Here we have a streamlined process in the XCSM for engineering product where you can directly open the drawings from, let's say, OpenText directly supports few like products like AutoCAD, which is used by many of the customers on Revit. So you can directly open the drawing files from the AutoCAD or Revit from the tool itself using a plugin. Okay, so you no need to log into the content server also. So you can directly open the AutoCAD. So you have an option there to directly open the drawings which are located in the content server, which is
Right.
nothing but extension for engineering. You can make the changes there and you can save it so that latest changes will be saved back to the content server again. So here you are not going to download and do all those things. Let's take example of one more scenario. So let's say you are not looking to do something like this, like opening the content server there. So extended ECM for engineering has a its own functionality or a small product called Engineering Connect. So which is part of the extended ECM for engineering again. So it allows you to open the content server from the desktop from your file explorer so that you can directly open the drawings from the file explorer using your native applications, and you can make the changes and you can save it so it will back into the content server. So once the changes are back into the content server, so from there, as I told you previously, you can add the document to a transmittal and send it out to someone externals, and they
Yeah.
can send it back to you making the changes. So this is very seamless. So this occurs very seamless, and it's very easier for the end users to make the changes and keep track of all the changes what they are doing. So we have very comprehensive auditing as well. Like we will audit everything, like who downloaded, who edited, who added, all those things. So it will be very easier for them to future in the future to audit anything as well. So there are many functionalities, but these are some of the main functionalities that might be more useful, that I feel more useful for the customers.
Yeah, I feel like that's sort of something we've, like I say, we've discussed a lot. That idea of collaboration, speeding people up. You know,
Yeah.
people's time is one of the most valuable things
Yeah.
that you can have. But doing it securely is what
Yes.
I'm hearing from you, and I think that's often a lot of the people we're talking about here are heavily regulated. So
Right.
being able to adhere to that, being able to be audited easily, and easy access to those kinds of documents when you are trying to get to them is pretty key. I'm really interested in the part you say about not having to open them all
Yeah.
individually. That seems like that must really annoy people.
Right. That's very useful feature from the extended for engineering.
Fantastic. And in terms of integration into existing enterprises, so if for example we have as an enterprise a large amount of proprietary systems, we also got CRMs, all that kind of stuff around. What are the
Mhm.
integration options from extended ECM?
So as I told you, so we can share the documents to the supplier exchange, right? So supplier exchange got its own APIs. So we from the other out, let's say there are external applications from where you want to access these documents. So let's say your external vendor is having its own repository of document management system. So there they can write a piece of code which will be looking for the documents uh, that will be coming into the projects inside the supplier exchange, and they can pull those documents directly. Or if the customer is willing to directly integrate with the content server, it is also possible. Content server has its own APIs, so you can always integrate that with to the content server. So these I am talking about the applications that are not so huge, so small applications, we can do something like this. But if you are talking about something like SAP plant maintenance or success factors or Salesforce, so OpenText Content Server or Extended ECM has its own integrations with these applications. So let's say if you want to integrate the content server with SAP, you can directly integrate. So that we call it as extended ESM for SAP, right? So once you have the documents in the repository, you can use them for the modifying, like from this perspective, like sharing with the externals and getting back these things. You can also use them, the same documents, for the other purposes as well. Like you can open these documents from the external applications like SAP or Salesforce or SuccessFactors
Right.
from their own transactions within the SAP, and you can view those documents there. So that is the integrations that we have so far.
Fantastic. I think that's a question we get asked a lot. Is a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people have their information in silos. They have it all over the place. They're maybe not sure where everything is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so obviously, when you come to a project such as this, when you're looking at project-driven sort of use cases here,
Yeah,
it's incredibly useful to be able to draw from all those different places. And in terms of that document control and collaboration,
yeah.
um, do you, in your experience, have you found that people are genuinely just more comfortable because they have so much control over who's seeing documents and their ability to know who's edited documents?
Yeah. So when it comes to the I mean, when during the implementation, we will be going through the existing process of the customer, right? And there we will segregate different roles. So we have different roles when it comes to the execution for engineering. Like uh, these are the same roles that we'll be using across the engineering industry or other construction industries and all those things. So
Hmm.
we name them as like document controllers, project engineers, project readers, EPC readers, something like that. So based on these roles, we can define the level of permissions they will have on these documents, and also depending upon the state of the document. So in the, I mean, within the contents, I mean, in a document lifecycle, there are multiple stages, right? A document initially will be a new revision, so which is nothing but is a new document. Then it will be issued for the construction, like if you want to send it for construction, or as built or something. So there are different stages in a life cycle of a document. In each stage, you can define what level of permission a specific role should have. Okay, so let's take example of a document controller. So document controllers are mostly the people who will be controlling these documents. So they are the one who will be creating the documents in the system in the first place, and they are the one who will be receiving the documents from the externals and all those things. They should have some level of higher level of permissions in these stages of document, like creation or receiving from the external vendors. But when it comes to the project engineers, so their role should be higher during the construction phase or the draft phases of the document, right? Because they are the one who will be defining or designing the drawings. Let's take example of that. So they are the one who are going to do that at that stage of the document. Project engineers should have the higher level of permissions, whereas document controllers do not need, because they are not going to make any changes to the document.
Yeah.
They are not going to make any drawings or something, right? So we can define these level of permissions depending upon the stages of the document, so which helps them to easier, like it makes very easy for all of them, so they can focus on what they have to do. They are not, bothered about all the other things, and they no need to worry about all the other things that are happening during the life cycle of the document. So once the document is the life cycle is completed, whenever you need, you can again go back to the system and see through what life cycle the document has gone through, and who made the approvals or who made the changes or who created, to which vendor it has been sent to, and from where they have received it, and all these details are also tracked. So we call it as in the old versions control revision tracking.
Yeah.
Even we can call the same here as well in the newer version. So where you can track all the revisions. So revisions are nothing but the different, I would say different, versions, but a revision can have multiple versions as well. But within the document, there will be multiple revisions, so which contains a different level of changes to the document.
Yeah.
And at that level, you can have the tracking and see at what revision who made the changes and all those things. So
Fantastic.
this will be very secured and comfortable for them as well.
Yeah, I was going to say we pride ourselves on the fact we'd like to make life easier for our clients. That sounds
Yes.
sounds like it fits the bill.
Yeah.
Um, in terms of And I think this is a great overview, by the way, so that I understand a lot more about why I would use it.
Mhm.
Um, are there use cases that we see in sort of change management, risk mitigation? Like for those people in those kinds of fields, what would they be using this kind of software for?
So let's take example of uh, risk management. So if there is something went wrong in some specific project, so they have to know from where the issue might have arisen, right? The root cause. How they will know that is like, as I told you earlier, so we maintain every change that has happened to a document or a drawing in the system. So those changes will let you know where the actual issue is, right? So let's take example of a pipeline. They will have a pipeline drawing. So that drawing might have gone through multiple versions, right? So there might be multiple changes. Someone has been suggested to you on something, and one day the drawing might or the pipeline might have broken at some place. Then you should know what is the root cause and how you can mitigate that in the next projects. So this revisioning within the drawings will help you to identify at what phase of the document it
Yeah,
went wrong and who made the decision. You will also know that. Or let's take example, the might have been designed by the external vendors. In that scenario, who made those changes, who is the vendor, and what are all the new regulations or the restrictions they have to make, the rules or regulations, I would say, to they have to make in the future to avoid these things in the future. So this will help them to identify these things. And when it comes to this from the security perspective, as I said, like it's always secured, so no one can access the contents of without their own credentials,
yeah,
and no one can access the documents even though if you're an vendor, without we share the document with you, because I have to share to you a specific document. I will be sharing with you specifically with you, right? So I will give you an email and like you'll receive that. Then from then on you will be making the changes and will be receiving that. So this makes very secure, and you'll have the documents very securely stored in the content server.
fantastic. And I'm pretty keen to sort of hear sort of some real world examples. What's kind of success have you seen? What kind of projects have you worked on in your career where you've seen from the start a company having a real problem, and then at the end of the project, here's what we ended up with?
So in my experience, I have worked with multiple customers, including the pipeline customers or engineering customers or oil and gas based customers. Most of the oil and gas, few pharmaceutical companies, and a few construction based companies as well. Okay, so let's take example of one of the oil and gas based customers who were having a legacy application in the past, but those applications are not having all these functionalities that I have spoken until now. So they do have few functionalities like tracking the revisioning and searching the documents and all those things. But at this present point of time in this world, we need, if you want to do analytics and all those things, you need even more metadata to identify all those things, right? So in that scenario, we have proposed this extended ECM for engineering, and they moved there, and we have implemented that project. At the end of the implementation, or right now, the users have access to their uh, own projects. So in the older application, there are no projects or something like that. So here you can have uh, something called projects within the content within the extended ECM for engineering, and something called master workspaces or the vault. So where you will be storing the final versions of the drawings and all those things. Apart from these, you can also, as I told you, we can restrict the access so granular level based upon the roles and their the purpose of the responsibility of that role at a certain point of uh, the document life cycle. So even that you can manage, right? So that makes the easier for them, because let's take example, you going to uh, I mean, you are a person who created the documents, and you create the document and it has to go to the next person directly, right? Like let's say project engineers. So there is no need from you to send an email and all those things, which the customer was doing in the past. Right? So in the extended ECM for engineering, we have something called state flows. So which will define where you can actually design the flow through which this document has to go. So let's say you create a document, then the next it has to go through a project engineer. I can just simply say transition. It will go to the next step. It will be assigned to the people who are there in the next level, like project engineers. It's not no more with you. It will be back to you only when uh, they make the changes and they want you to put this document in the master workspace. So in this point of time, document controllers will have to can focus only on specific documents, right? Like a specific stage of the documents. So this makes their life really easy, and also it provides lots of metadata, which we store something called categories, so which they can use for the reporting analytics purposes, so that they can make the future decisions easily. Like let's say if they want to build one more oil rig or something, so they will have all the data stored already in the system, so they will identify where they can do on all those things. That is also one easier thing. And the second, I mean, the major plus point I have seen is the collaboration with externals.
Yeah.
So which is majorly, I mean, a drawback for the older, I mean, the old tools that are there in the market. But here we have multiple options like CoShare or Supplier Exchange, or even with the email, which is a conventional type of thing. But CoShare and the Supplier Exchange makes it very easier for them to share those documents with the external collaborators and get it back. And also from the auditing purposes, we audit the documents at so granular level, so you know what are all the changes that has been happening in the system. So all these functionalities, already the people who understands these things, right, they also know the uh, the plus points of this product, and what it would be in the next 1 year, how they can see this product and how they can utilize this. Because let's say I won't say that this product will be, I mean, they can see all the things on the first day itself of the
Hmm.
implementation. It takes time. They need more data, more more projects and more master workspaces in the system to come to an conclusion, saying that yeah, this is what we need, and these are the things that we are expecting, and these are the things that are already there in the market, which are very useful for them and all those things.
Fantastic. And you mentioned metadata there, which
Yeah,
any system, any implementation, any process is as powerful as the data that powers it, right?
yeah.
That's pretty important. So what are the metadata options? What's been done to really take advantage of that, would you say?
So metadata in say in the I mean in the extended edition for engineering, I would say will be utilizing the core functionality called categories. So metadata is nothing but it's an easy identifier. So let's take example of you are searching in some external grocery site, or let's take example of some shopping site. So at the left side you will be seeing some options, right? Let's say you are trying to purchase a mobile, you will see option the RAM, ROM size, and what is the processor and all those things. So that is a metadata that will define the object,
Yeah.
right? So this will makes the life of the person who is using the product so easier. So let's take if you are going to a shopping website and if you don't have all these options, the only option is to scroll down and see all the things and pick everything and see. Rather than that, if you put some metadata on top of this object, like let's say on a mobile phone, the RAM is 4 GB or ROM is 100 GB, something like this. It will make them to easier to take a decision,
Yeah.
and also it is easier to identify the document or the object within the system, whatever the application you are using. So it we do lots of brainstorming before finalize a metadata that has to be there, because the redundant metadata is also not required and it will slow down the system. So we need to capture the metadata that is really required, right? There is no need for us or for the customer to capture all the data that is not required and make the system huge, because it occupies lots of space. And this is one thing, and one more thing is like metadata also helps uh, us to write the reporting. So we
Right.
do develop multiple reports based upon the customer requirement. We do have beautiful dashboards and beautiful views which we can develop based on those dashboards, so that you will know the status of the documents. Or let's say you can also filter out the documents based upon the project or the location or the person who might have created and all those things. So the source for all this reporting, source for all these analytics, and also for searching of the documents is going to be the metadata. So we can even integrate this metadata into the drawing title blocks as well. So we have that functionality in the extended ECM for engineering, where you can define what metadata has to get into the drawing title block. And also, extended ECM for engineering has the capability to read the title block of your drawing and store the data in a metadata. So it's two-way. So you can even insert the metadata into the drawings or extract the metadata from the drawings and store in the categories in the XCCM for engineering. So this will help you to identify those drawings as well easily. So no need from you to enter. So this is the drawing ID. This is the revision of this drawing, all those things. So these all are automated. So from the user perspective, it reduces many manual tasks as well.
Fantastic. And very quickly, because I know we're short on time.
Yeah.
Are there any options for integration with CAD drawings as well? Because obviously that's something very important for our client base.
Yeah, as I told you, so we have something called Engineering Connect, so which we can directly install in your system. So which from where you can access the documents or the folders that are there in the content server or
Yeah.
extended ECM for engineering directly on your desktop. And so let's take you have a drawing file, you can directly open it. Once it is there in the desktop, you can open it using your native application like AutoCAD or Revit. So you do have some limitations as of now, but they are planning to extend it for all the other products as well, like all the other CAD products, I would say. So right now it supports AutoCAD and Revit, something like that. So there is a list of details as well, which can be found in the release notes of the product. So if you are using these things, you can directly open those documents from the browser using the Engineering Connect. And there is also one more plugin that is available from the OpenText again, where you can open the content server from the AutoCAD or Revit also. So we have an option where you can directly open it from the AutoCAD. So let's say if you want to open a drawing which is there in the content server, you can directly open the AutoCAD. On top, you will see something called content server. Click on it, navigate to the folder, drawing, open the drawing it. So the drawing will be directly opened into the AutoCAD. You make the changes to the drawing and save it. So it will be automatically saved into the content server. It's very simple. So no need to download and make the changes, save the changes in your system, upload it again, adding it as a version. So it eliminates all this process.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, Charan, thank you so much for your time.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate you taking the time to talk to me about it today. If anyone wants to know any more, feel free to get in touch with us.
Sure.
Sounds like you might need to get out there quite quickly, Sharon, what's going on in the background. But other than that, you'll be fine.
Yeah. I see it.
Excellent. Thank you so much, mate. And we look forward to seeing you all very soon.
Yeah. Sure. Thank you.